Welcome back, guys. If you've been struggling with eye makeup application, blending, I got you. Make sure you don't skip any part of this detailed video. Let's get started. So on my right is what you should do, and on my left eye is what you should not do. Always start with a primer, apply all over your eyes. Make sure it dries out very well, or you can use a setting powder, especially if you have an oily skin. After applying your primer, going with a transition shade. And what's a transition shade? Is any shade that helps you blend in your main color well on your eyes. Any shade that's going to help blend it in softer. So I'm using that orange shade that I showed you on my eyes, and I'm using a blending brush to blend it out. I use a tapered brush to apply it, and I'm using a blending brush to blend it out. So that's the point. You shouldn't do it. So apply your transition shade without priming your eyes first, and also please don't use the same brush you used to apply the product to blend it out. Always use a fluffy eye blending brush to blend out your product after you have primed properly, so that the colors can come out well and it will look very nice and soft. So I'm using this contour eye brush to pick colors and place it exactly where I want it to be. These brushes pick a lot of colors at once, so I'm putting it at the outer V, that's the outer corner of my eye, and I'm just taking it inwards into my crease, and I'm going to be applying it bit by bit, and subsequently I'll be using a blending brush. Blending brushes distribute colors well, and they don't pick a lot of colors at once, and blending is the most important thing in makeup. And remember to always take your time, little by little. Your eyes are the first thing people notice when they look at you, so always take your time to make it look very nice. Yeah, so I'm doing mine. Just see how soft and blended that eye is. You don't want any color standing out on its own, and you don't want any line of demarcation between shades. What you should not do is to go in all at once with all the products you want to use for either your outer corner, your crease all together. Don't do that. Always start with your crease, then go to your outer corner, then your inner corner should be the last. There's no specific rule when it comes to makeup, but as a beginner, you should always start with your crease, then your outer corner, then your inner corner should be last. So one thing you notice is I used the same colors for both eyes, but because I went in all at once, I didn't go in bit by bit. I didn't apply the shades little by little. The darker shade has swallowed up the lighter shade, so that's why you should not do that. So we're done with the crease and the outer V. So the next thing is the lid. So I'm applying an eyeshadow base to the areas where I want to apply the colors I'll be using on my lid, the colors that I want to pop. Yeah, so the purpose of applying an eyeshadow base is to make the colors come out very well, and with this you don't need to apply too much, to go in with so much product for the colors to pop colors, using a flat brush. So I went in with a light purple matte shade, and I'm just buffing that further into my eye contour. I'll leave the details of all the products I use in the description bar, so check it out if you would like to know the products that I use to create this look. What you should not do is to apply the color you are going to be using on your lid without using an eyeshadow base first on your lid. You are going to struggle to make it pop. Just see the difference between the one that we used a base for and the one that we didn't use a base for. So to create depth, I went in with this dark shade and I use a tapered brush, the same one I used to apply colors on my outer V. For the center of my lid, I went in with a lilac shade, and I'm just blending it into that dark shade, and I used a blending brush to blend it inward. Another tip is, if you're working with limited brushes, always clean the brush you use first before picking another color so that it doesn't mess up what you've created. If you do brow bone highlight, for me I don't, just use a little amount and don't let it get into your crease, and also pick a shade that goes hand with your skin tone. Don't go overboard like you see me do on the other eye. This shade is just too bright and it has a yellowish undertone. Don't let it get to the beginning of your brow. Towards the tail end of your brows, like you see me demonstrate, the middle of your crease upwards, quarter to the tail end of your brows. Don't let it extend into your crease. To line my eyes, I'm using a gel liner, and I'm also using a pointed brush, or you can use an eyeliner brush. So I'm just doing a very short and simple wing, and I'm just going little by little. I am not creating any extra line on top of my lid. I'm just working with what I already have. So I'm just doing the same thing for the other eye. Like, if you don't get the foundation right, if you don't get, that's talking about the priming, the eyeshadow base, the blending, if you don't get it right, even if you do the best liner and all that, it's still not going to come out nice. So that's why I'm doing the same thing I did on the other eye, just so you see that even with the eyeliner it still doesn't come out right. So you just have to learn how to blend, and it's not difficult. Go at your pace. Definitely get it if you go at your pace. Don't rush it. I'm not applying anything to my inner corner, but for my waterline and lower lash line, I'm going with this green shade, and I'm using a flat eyeshadow brush to pick the product and place it where I want it to be. Yes, those are the kind of brushes you use for either your inner corner, your lower lash line, and your waterline. And also, the product doesn't necessarily need to go way below your lower lash line. So like I always say, there's no specific rule when it comes to makeup, so just do what works for you basically. Eye contouring is optional, but I'm doing it in this video, and I'm just using that shade right there to contour my eyes. I don't like extremely dark shades, and you may want to avoid using extremely dark shades to contour your eyes, because at the end of the day you are still going to contour your nose. You should avoid using shades that you wouldn't use on a normal day to contour your nose and your cheekbone. Any shade that is too dark for your cheekbone and your nose will not sit well with your eyes. And use a blending brush to do your eye contouring, because it doesn't pick a lot of colors, and that's what you want. I did my lashes off camera, so for this other eye I just placed the glue on my lashes and applied it immediately. And please don't do that. Always let your glue get a little bit tacky before you place it on your lid, and it shouldn't be way above your natural lashes. It shouldn't be on top of your lid space, if that makes sense. Try as much as possible not to extend it into your inner corner, because it tends to irritate your eyes, especially if you have a very sensitive eye like I do. It tends to irritate your eyes, and you can even tear up in the process. So just, it's better to avoid bringing it towards your inner corners. too much. We've come to the end of today's video, guys. If you enjoyed, please give this video a big thumbs up so it gets recommended to more people. Like, subscribe, share this video with your friends and anybody you think will find this helpful. If you have any video in mind that you'd like me to create for you, any questions or complaints about makeup, please drop a comment and I will do well to respond to you. And I'll see you in my next one, guys. Take care. Bye.